Hi, I'm Deepa Liu, and I'm the Creative Mystic. And if you've ever wondered about your a spirit guide and how you connect with it, welcome to my art studio. This is my sacred art studio, and Archangel Gabriel came to me and wanted me to start creating a spirit guide portal. A portal is a doorway, a way for you to connect with a spirit guide so that you can actually, one, remember that the spirit guide is there for you, and two, have something that is infused with the energy and vibration of that spirit guide. So Archangel Gabriel came to me. The vision came several weeks ago, and I kept getting it over and over and over. And finally, I was like, I need to, like do this. And so I drew it on some paper, and then I got the download from Archangel Gabriel to actually create this spirit guide portal, um, so that you can actually start to understand how you can work with one. And specifically Archangel Gabriel, because Archangel Gabriel actually came on a flying horse, of which he or she also has um, wings. And someone on one of my other lives commented about them having wings, and like, wow, why would they be on a flying horse if they've got wings? But Archangel Gabriel came with the idea of it is time for you to believe that miracles can happen. And he's going to share more about that. But he wanted me to, and he's coming as a he at this point because it's a very active process to create a spirit guide portal. And you can do this with any kind of medium. It doesn't have to be oil painting, which is what I do. Okay. But if you do acrylics or watercolor, you can do this. You can also do it if maybe you don't even create spirit guide portals. Maybe you create something different. You can infuse the spiritual energy though into that creation so it carries a vibration, an energy that can bless whoever sees what you're making. And so I'm going to share some of that with you. If you tuned in before, part of my process, and part of it is about ringing the bell and saying hello, God, hello, Spirit. We're going to say specifically hello to Archangel Gabriel and invite his energy in. So I don't know how well this bell comes through. If you have your own bell, I invite you to do that and ring it in your space, because this is about awakening sacred space, not just here in my art studio, but in your home or your studio or wherever you are. If you're in your car or your place of business, now obviously if you're in your car driving, you can't ring a bell, okay? But whatever space you're in, if you have one, you can ring that bell and you can invite in Archangel Gabriel with you. And that way, as I'm creating the portal, the doorway, you can start to feel the vibration. Because part of what Archangel Gabriel wanted me to do, or wants me to do, is to start creating this sacred space so that it actually reaches out and touches you out into the world and into your home and into wherever you are, so that you can feel like you're being blessed, and that you can feel not only like you're being blessed, but that you're feeling the presence of this divine presence. Because each spirit guide that's created is a divine presence here to bless you and awaken you to divine truth, to your divine truth of what you're supposed to be, do, and have here on the planet. And it's like a mission, that a dispensation that I want to help you with so that you can do it for yourself. Okay. So I'm going to ring the bell, but I'm going to turn around this time. Last time I faced the camera, but I actually want to really ring it to invoke Archangel Gabriel and his flying horse. Okay. So, like I said, if you've got one, please do it and get one. If you don't, that's cool. But I'm going to turn around here for a minute and we're going to do a little prayer. I'm going to do a little prayer, and you can follow along and listen to mine or do your own silently. If you are like, please feel free to introduce yourself and give a shout out of where you're from. All right. So I'm going to take a moment here and I'm going to ring the bell, inviting in Archangel Gabriel. Hello, Archangel Gabriel. If you can hear the bell, feel the vibration penetrating every cell in your body, in your mind, in your soul, inviting in Archangel Gabriel to one, feel connected, two, to embrace your space, and three, to feel blessed. And Archangel Gabriel is actually coming through, and he had me count them out as 1, 2, and 3, which is not something I do, but he's already coming in. But I'm going to still do my prayer. And the prayer is about, setting my intention, setting my energy. And that would be the same for you. Divine Mother, Heavenly Father, Great Spirit of the universe, and specifically Archangel Gabriel, who came here, who blessed us, came here to be, do, and have a blessing for you, for us. I invoke thy presence into this sacred space and to all the sacred souls who come and see this video to receive the blessings of knowing that miracles are here. I move my little self aside and let thy great flow, thy great light of divine energy, divine presence flow through this body, mind, and soul, and into the paintbrush and into the canvas, infusing it with thy vibration, thy blessings. Om. Peace. Amen. Om. 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 And I'm going to light this candle. This is not a candle, this is a ghee lamp. But if you have a candle, I invite you to light one. It's about the energy, inviting in the energy of transformation. I bring this ghee lamp. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandham Pushtivadanam Urvareka Bandhanat Richo Mokshamamritat. Om Om Bo Om Bhavaha Om Swaha Om Maha Om Janaha Om Tapaha Om Satyam Om Tatsavitur Vadinyam Bhargo Devasya Dimahi Dio Yona Prachodayat. Om. I like to use the Palo Santo. One, I absolutely just love the smell of Palo Santo. And two, it's about clearing the energy and any negative energies, and also inviting in the divine presence energies that that my intention is to infuse into this canvas so that it's a portal for each and every soul who see it to feel blessed, to feel the wisdom of Archangel Gabriel. So today I was guided to use some different colors. And I'm gonna actually put in the background here. Now, in my other videos, I talked a little bit about how I do go with how I'm divinely guided. I get guided by the spirit guides to do it different ways. I have a method and a ritual way I do it, but sometimes the spirit guides come in and tell me to do it totally different than I never do. So, like this time, I actually don't usually paint a little outline around it, but I got to do that this time. So I did it. I usually pencil it in if it's something kind of elaborate, but I don't actually take. This was burnt umber that I just put a quick outline. I was kind of guided to do that. So that's what I did. Now, this doesn't want to open. I'll open this one. So the thing I love about creating spirit guide portals, because I do love it, it's just something that absolutely gives me joy. Like I have the most difficult time finding the time to actually sometimes paint, because I don't know about you, but I have that programming that tells me that I should um, do the practical, logical things. And that will prevent me from actually painting, is doing the practical, logical. So I was given. Now, one of the different things I normally do that I haven't done on YouTube, because I was afraid they would shut me down, but I found out that if I get certain music that's approved, I can put that and play it. Usually I play a song that carries the vibration of the blessings that the spirit guide had me or wants me to infuse in. And I can't do that on YouTube because they shut things down if it's obviously somebody owns the rights to it. So, but this is about creating that sacred space, and how can you be a champion you're carrying? What are you thinking about? What are you feeling? Like I tell people, if you want to create a spirit guide portal or sacred art or anything, you got to think about what energy you're having when you create it. Not just about technical ability, it's also about what's the energy, what are you thinking, what are you feeling when you're creating. And I just love it because I can't even tell you why. I just know it makes me always feel so much joy. So much joy, joy, joy. So, and the thing I love about oil paint, some people will worry about because they think that there's a lot of toxic products in oil paints. And I use Gamblin color oil paints, and they do everything to make them in the non-toxic ways or the least toxic ways. They don't really, there's some things that does have some toxicity, but I do it in ways that don't have, that you don't use a lot of toxic stuff. But the thing I love about oil paints, absolutely love, 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 is they're forgiving. They allow you to make mistakes. And in life, we've been programmed to think we can't make mistakes, but let's be real. Mistakes are part of life. Isn't that true? And at least when I find that I'm oil painting, I make things that don't look pretty to me that sometimes can make me feel like it's a mistake. But I tell people, well, if you just keep feeling the guidance of the guide, it always shows up as something that makes the portal more beautiful, more powerful, shows maybe more depth that is going to help. Now, you're probably wondering, like, why is she painting the edge, even though this isn't a gallery wrapped as far as like thick. I do this because they're portals, they're doorways, and I don't frame them in a frame, but I want them like to like feel like it doesn't just end off the edge. So I'm not going to paint them all here. That's the one part I might paint, not on camera, because Archangel Gabriel gave me guidance to do this. I've been just doing it when I'm going to do the live, and right now I'm doing it once a week. Who knows? I might get guidance to do it more than once a week. But if you're somebody who has been interested in spirit guides or combining creativity and spiritual tools and techniques, what I call being a creative mystic, because that's what happened is I started combining my spiritual practices with creating these portals, and it went from there. So now one of the things I also love about oil paints is sometimes I'll blend things right on the canvas, which is what I got guidance to do, was just to take some of this and just blend it right on the canvas, not mix the colors or get a tube, but to actually bring it onto the canvas. So I just follow my guidance. And sometimes I get things that I'm like, my little ego self goes, ew, I don't like that. But then I just keep following the next guidance I get. And that's what life is like, I find, is you got to be willing, even when something looks like you failed or something doesn't look good, is what's that next step? In painting, it's what's that next layer almost with the oil paints. Like what's going to be that next thing? Because maybe it's about that was supposed to be underneath it so that it bleeds through a little bit. If you have any questions about anything, if you happen to be live, or even if you're watching this in the recording, put it in the comments. I'd be happy to answer it, because this is about how we can create sacred space for you. And the other thing that Archangel Gabriel was telling me about why they wanted me to do this was because they said that we need to build more community, they said, about bringing people together who have interest in bringing more high vibration. That's the thing about these portals. It's about how can we bring more higher vibration, especially if you're feeling like there's challenges in life, or I know a lot of people feel like there's challenges in the world, of which there are. I mean, haven't there always been? But how can you bring more of the higher consciousness, higher vibration into your space, because once you start to feel it, then you can bring that out into the world. This is about how can you begin to feel more of the vibration of these different divine presences that come as spirit guides, because each one is here to bless you. So, like I said, Archangel Michael came wanting to bless you, if you're watching this, with the idea of, where in your life have you felt like you could use a miracle, or that you want something to happen different? Because miracles, a lot of times people think of miracles as a miracle is just if it's something like someone's raised from the dead, and Archangel Michael, I'm not Michael, excuse me, Archangel Gabriel said miracles are not just things like people raising from the dead. They are anything that you felt like wasn't possible. Like, is there something in your life like that you like to see transformed or be different in your life because you're not happy with it or something like that? This is part of what this spirit guide came to me and said that I want to start giving people the idea of possibility, miracles. What can you start to change and believe that something is actually possible that you didn't think was possible, and to see that it is. And that's why and they told me that part of the reason why you're seeing an angel that has wings that could fly by itself, right? But yet is on a horse that has wings, so it doesn't have to fly. Like, why is that happening? Like, that goes beyond like our brain. Like, why would that happen? And I was given the download that it's happening because they want you to get that you can get on for the ride. You don't have to do it all yourself. You don't have to struggle to get it done. Like, I don't know about you, but I had a hard time asking for help for a long time. I can still have it, but I do so much better than I used to, because I used to think that like asking for help was, I don't know if it was a sign. I think I thought it was like not a sign of weakness, but maybe some of like a sign of weakness, but also that like if you did it, it meant like maybe you owed something to somebody, or but also a sign of weakness. Like, I really grew up with the idea that I'm supposed to be competent and able to do it on my own. I'd love it if any of you have felt that way, or what you have shared in the comments. If you've suffered from that, like having a challenge, asking for help, bringing yourself to the place where like it's not a sign of weakness, you don't owe something to somebody just because you ask for help. But here's the great thing about the spirit guides is you can ask for help and you owe them one thing. I have a lot of people who come to work with me, and they feel like if like they don't want to ask the spirit guide for too much help because they feel like, oh, that's too mundane. It's too mundane to ask for this, or I don't want to ask too much because what if I ask too much and they don't want to do it, or they feel like overwhelmed. And I tell people, with the spirit guides, you can't ask too much. There is no overwhelm. You don't owe them. They are a reflection of you. And I've said this in the other videos, but I'm going to say it again because they are a reflection of what you need. They know what it is that you need, that are your obstacles and challenges that you're having, and they want to help you. They just really want to help you. And so they come specifically, like if you get, especially your own personal spirit guides, but all these spirit guides that are coming to me in visions and meditation are coming because they said that we want to come onto the planet and be in the physical form so that people can start to believe in us. Like, because we've been programmed to believe that, I only can believe what I see with my naked eye, right? My physical eye. Like if I can't see it physically, it means it's not true. But yet there are so many things that are so true that we cannot see. So, you can't really see love, the energy of love, right? And I heard this on another person said this, and I thought this is so true. Like we can't see gravity, we can't see oxygen, but we know they're there, right? Because if we don't have oxygen, what happens? We suffocate, right? If we don't have gravity, we'd be floating in the air. So there's like we go, oh well, there's physical evidence, but you actually can't see gravity and you can't see oxygen and you can't really see the energy of love, can you? People say, well, yeah, but you can feel it. Exactly, but it's not something you can see with your physical eyes, right? And so it's about how do you like start to embrace the truth that what is actually really real is what we can't see, with our eyes. But these spirit guides came saying we want to be in physical form to help people with the biggest spiritual challenge, which is remembering. All right. Now, how many times, I don't know if you've been on the spiritual path a long time. I'd love it if you want to share, if you have or haven't. But if you have, you've been on the spiritual path a long time, there's not new. It's just how do you have deeper understanding of the truth so that you can apply it in your life, right? Because that's the thing that will transform us is how do we apply the spiritual truth in our lives? And the spirit guides, all my spirit guides, are wanting to give higher guidance on how you do that. Now, each one comes in with a more specific kind of dispensation, like Our Lady of Guadalupe, when I created her, if anybody knows the story of her, she is the only piece of art that I know is like a miracle. They can't explain what it's made out of. They can't explain what how it got to be on the cloak. Excuse me. It was actually called a tilma back then, but it was a tilma is a peasant cloak. So they can't explain any of that. And so how do you actually know the blessings of it? But she's the only version of a Mother Mary that is pregnant. And you're like, how do you know she's pregnant? Well, it's because her clothing, the time period. And it's one of the first things I learned when I got on the spiritual path. And I was Buddhist at first, and they taught me that you can't take spiritual text or guidance out of the context of when it was given and who it was given to. Because great masters, great spiritual masters, people who, they give different guidance to different people, depending on what their challenges are, what their karma is, all of that. And so that's the great thing about the spirit guides when I use it in my coaching is I don't just, I coaching, spiritual mentoring, I call it both. I don't just give you, here's the format that I use, and I use it with the same for everybody. It's the spirit guides come in and say, this is what we need to do for this person. So it's very specific to the karma, the challenges that person's having. And that's the beauty of when you can connect with the spirit guides, and especially if you can learn to do it yourself, is that then you can start to know when to trust your intuition, the intuitive guidance that you're getting, the higher guidance that you're getting. Is by following that higher guidance and beginning to trust it. And the spirit guides come in these forms because they know specifically what many of the challenges are. Now, when they're coming to me in this, my meditation to be made into a portal for the world, it's not obviously specific to, oh, I got some yellow there. I guess that's supposed to happen to you. But when they come in and they come in, like when I coach with people, they're then giving guidance that's specific to that person. So this is what I call the first layer, because every painting I do has more than one layer because it's a buildup. So I'm just getting in the first layer, and that's probably what we're going to do today is get most of this first layer in. I don't know if I'm going to get it all in, but I'm certainly going to get a lot of it in if I don't get it all in. Oh, I probably won't get the angel and the horse, and I'll probably get all of this background in, or most of it in. We'll see. So if anybody's had a desire to paint or create, I'd sure love it to see it. And this is about creating sacred time for anybody who wants to come and share the time with me of, and it doesn't have to necessarily be painting spirit guides. Maybe you just need some sacred energy to feel like you can do whatever your art is or what are the creations that you feel divinely guided to do. Because everybody has something that they love making or doing that feels right. It could be even gardening or building woodwork, whatever it is. Oops. I get this first base in. And I'm going to start blending some of it together. I think I need more paint. Now, one of the things I've been trying to figure out, because I've just been starting to do this recently, was I know there's a lot of shadow on the canvas, but I haven't figured out how to like make it so there's no shadow, but gives me the light that I need to paint. Because if you've done any painting, especially if you do it on the inside, I have a lot of daylight lamps around. I have like 2 big daylight lamps that give me daylight so that I can see the colors the way they're supposed to be, as if it was like outside, rather than, all the different lights that can make it look different because they're slightly different, temperature. So that's unfortunate. I haven't figured out that yet, how to do that without having the shadows. But you live and learn. And maybe one day I'm going to go, I've got it figured out. If anybody has a tip about lighting, because for some reason they know how to do it, please let me know. I would love to hear any feedback about, like a way that you think I can light it where I still have good lighting to see what I'm painting, but would make it so there's no shadow so you guys have a better view of what I'm painting. Because one of the things that Archangel Gabriel wanted was, as it gets created, that you can start to feel like the blessings that are being infused into it. Because that's what I do, is as I'm painting it. Now I'm talking more than when I do it on my own, but just all that I'm talking still is an energy of like, these are blessings, and it's getting infused into this portal. If you came on in the beginning, or you watched the beginning and you heard me do those 2 chants, the Maha Mrityunjaya mantra. They're both yogic chants. And the Maha Mrityunjaya mantra has a lot of healing energy in it. And I do that because one of the things that the spirit guides come is to help you heal. So it's about me owning that this is also just not just a spiritual process of like showing you a spirit guide, but that they're coming to help you heal whatever it is that I keep like slipping today, whatever it is that you need to heal. Because anytime you have something in your life where you're not happy with it, because there's something you got to heal, to let go of, that you're hanging on to, that maybe it's time to let go of, but you haven't been able to because you're afraid. And that's where Archangel Gabriel came in and said that it's time to help people step into this energy of that miracles are here. That, whatever you thought isn't possible is actually possible. And that's what they want me to infuse into this spirit guide portal, is the energy of, yes, it's possible. And you don't have to do it alone. That's why Archangel Gabriel is appearing on this horse, who is actually carrying them, so they don't have to do it alone. Right? So, what is it that you maybe need some help with, that you haven't been willing to say, let me ask for help? Archangel Gabriel saying, in this process of creating this, if you keep coming back and being with Gabriel, that you're going to start to be in the vibration of possibility and of miracles, and that they'll start showing up in your life. Now, again, like they said earlier, a miracle isn't necessarily waking up from the dead. It's about rising from the dead. It's about, how do you anything you thought you can't do, like what would that be? So thank you, Reverend Francis Baden, for saying that you love seeing the portal come to life. Anyway, we got the background in the first layer, and I am going to paint this top part because I'm getting guided to do this part, which then probably going to call it a day, and then we'll work on it next week, next Thursday. That's at 3:30, same time, same place. If you've like being in this vibration, please, you can bring your own. We'll create a process that you want to do. Keep getting this. And do it with me and with the with Archangel Gabriel. Love to see you, you know. And one thing about when you do these too, you got to step back and get perspective. And that's kind of life too. I'm going to step back from it because I've been laying all this in and not seeing any of it from a distance. And yeah. So, you know, that's the other thing that I find the spirit guides can do when you commune with them is give you perspective. You know, if you've been struggling with seeing something and you're really, especially something that just is like not setting well with you, like they help you, they bring you that higher guidance so you can see it in a different light. You can see it in a different way, you know. So, all right. Well, we got the first layer of the background in. Oh, I'm getting like, let's bring some of this forward, even if it's. We're going to work on the rest of this. So, I'd love to see you next week, Thursday, 3:30. You're going to work on Archangel Gabriel some more, share a little bit more about the process and the message, and you'll be able to see it coming to life. And if you have some kind of little spiritual, creative thing you'd like to do, love to see you here and love to see you sharing who you are and see you come back. All right? Blessings. Have a miraculous day. Oh, Emily Howard, I remember you. You just came in. I was just wrapping up today. But thank you for sharing. You know, so thank you for everyone who came. All righty. Signing off. Take care. Oh, thank you, Emily. Yeah, it'll be posted out once I end it, so it'll go up and you can see the creation and everything. But thanks for showing up, even if you came after I was coming to an end. It's just fun to see people that I recognize have been here before. So, all right, take care, everybody.